Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 40 of Perfect Inspiration. My name is Brian Matiash. So this is a cool little milestone for the both the Perfect Inspiration series and also just for myself personally. Episode 40 I'm really excited about. We're just not too many more episodes before we make it to an even 52 episodes, bringing a new inspirational series every Friday for a solid year. And also for me personally, this is my brand new puppy. His name is Kodak, and he was born on November 1st, so he's very, very young, tiny little guy. And I was, I kind of still am one of those people who never really understood, when I'm on social media like Facebook or Google Plus, and I see people just plastering my wall with pictures of their newborns or their families, and I just was never. I'm not that kind of a, I guess, that kind of a person. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's not a criticism at all. It's just that's not who I am. Until I got this little puppy. I don't know what it is about this little guy. I've had dogs before, but I've never actually rescued a puppy, and so this guy has definitely done something to kind of change how I view the concept of snapshots. And it's because maybe I know that within a few months he'll probably double in size and he'll never be a little puppy like this again. And so there's this kind of, as a photographer, this compulsion to want to capture, this little guy when he's tiny and when his paws are still, kind of pinkish. That's kind of where the inspiration for this episode came from. Was it really helped me through just Kodak. Kodak really helped me redefine what it is to kind of take my own snapshots and take them on my own terms. And so what I want to do is walk you through just how I will stylize this image to kind of create it. I got the image. It was with my Canon 5D Mark III, and I use a lot of just techniques as a photographer, as I would when I'd be out in nature when I took this shot. Meaning I waited for Kodak to get into this particular position when the background was not busy, when he wasn't in his crate. But also there were a lot of little things like waiting for his eyes to be open. He's a puppy and he sleeps a ton. So for him to kind of sit up and just kind of look at me with his eyes open, that was a really great thing. I shot with a 70-200 f2.8. It was pretty tight. Let's see what we were in at 150 millimeters at f2.8. So you can see here, and this is something that I was really happy with when I saw the image, to illustrate to people who are doing these kinds of snapshots with their cameras, and you think, oh, I'm just going to open up my aperture to f2.8. You have to understand how narrow, how razor thin your plane of focus is. Look right here at the carpet. This little spot right there, that's the plane of focus. That's what's in focus. Everything behind it, everything in front of it is out of focus. So what does that mean? Well, I made sure that I set my focus on Kodak's eyes, not on his nose, not on his ears, but on the eyes, and more importantly, on the eye that was closer. His face was pretty much square with me, but this eye was slightly closer to me, so I metered off of this eye. Because I did that, my plane of focus was able to keep pretty much his entire face sharp, and you can also see really cool this plane of focus across the scene. We even managed to get a little bit of his paw over here in focus. Had I metered anywhere else with an f2.8 aperture, because I was using such a long lens, I would have missed my focus and this image wouldn't have been usable. So that's something to consider when you're trying to kind of step up your snapshot game. And it's one thing to take a bunch of pictures, but for me, it's not about taking lots of pictures. It's trying to get the best moments with whatever it is or whoever it is that I'm photographing. And if it does mean that I have to take 50 shots of Kodak sitting here, so be it. I'll be happy to do that. This was the shot that I worked with, and I was really happy with, because it was through this image that I really thought about what it means to be this kind of a photographer, just capturing from my own personal memories. So let's go ahead here and let's send this image over to Perfect Effects to stylize. That's what we're going to use for this episode. And I'm going to do that by going to the File menu, selecting Plugin Extras, and then going to Perfect Effects 4. All right, so as you may have seen in the before and after slider at the top of this episode, I definitely went funky with this shot. It's one thing, I got the shot, I got the memory, I got him in this really cute, adorable pose. Now I want to stylize it for myself. And the way that I start with this first is going to the split tone category. And what I want to do is apply this effect here called split blue orange. And what it's going to do is it's going to help kind of set the foundation, the kind of look that I want for the image. What I want to do is, with this particular effect, I'm going to keep it as is. So I'm not actually going to change anything. I'll leave it, in fact, I'm going to bring it up to 100% and give it full strength. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to click Add, and I'm going to apply that same effect again, right on top of it. Except this time, what I want to do is bring the blending options up, and I'm going to select Soft Light. So I'm going to drop my blending mode, and I'm going to hover down to Soft Light. Now with Soft Light done, I'm going to bring that strength down to about 75%, and you can see that it brings out some more contrast in the image while retaining that split tone look that I was going for. All right, now let's click Add. And what I want to do is bring out some more detail in the face, especially to help it pop off of the screen. So I'm going to go to the Effect Options, and I'm going to select Tone Enhancer. So this is going to let me build a custom tone enhancer. I'm going to bring the local contrast slider up to about maybe 32, 33%. That's good. Actually, a little bit less than that. I'm going to bring the black slider all the way down. I don't want that on at all because it's kind of giving it a really kind of grungy look. And I'm actually going to bring out some of the shadow recovery. So here I'll bring it out to about maybe 10, 11. Now, with this done, what I want to do is first, I'm just looking at the face. I don't really care about the rest of the scene. I'm going to bring the strength of the effect down to 0, and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to stop at a place where I'm happy with how the face looks. So somewhere right around here, about 53%. Now I'm going to take the masking brush from the tool well, I'm going to click Invert, which hides the effect, and it puts the brush into paint-in mode. I'm going to take the feather, I'm going to bring that feather down a lot, and I'm going to bring the size of the brush up. All right, now because I'm in a paint-in mode, I'm just going to go ahead here and paint in that effect just on his face, and also on the paws, just to let the paws pop a bit. All right, so we're getting good here. Got really nice. Oh, let me get out here also a little bit to get his whiskers. There. All right, so we've got that going on. Now let's go ahead and hit Add. And what I want to do is apply a texture. And really, if you've seen videos that I've done in the past where I've used textures, you know that there's one in particular that I love. Under the texture section over here, I'm going to go to the paper. So textures, paper, and then my favorite one by far is called Rice Paper Light, which is right here. There it is. And really, if I use this often, I'll usually flag an effect as a favorite, so that when I go to my favorites tab, it'll be there and it'll be easier to find. All right, so Rice Paper Light. The first thing that I usually do, I'm not a fan of that kind of border that you see here, so I'm going to bring the scale slider out so that it stretches that border until it's not visible. There. Now what I'm also going to do is change the mode from normal to darker. That's going to give me a really nice, cool, warm look. It's going to bring back some of the warmth on the image. I'm going to bring the overall strength of this layer down to about 78%, and I'm going to take the masking brush, bring that opacity down to about maybe 35, 36%, and I'm going to remove it. Oh, you want to make sure you're in a paint out mode. And I want to remove it from Kodak's face. So in these kind of single broad strokes, I'm going ahead and just removing a little bit of the texture. And now I'm going to do a second stroke. All right, almost done. All right, so we removed just a little bit here, maybe a little bit more from the his little snout, and we're good to go there. Now, to finish this off, what I want to do is I want to add kind of a cool border, kind of a two-level border. So the first thing I'm going to do is click Add, and let's go ahead and close the texture paper category, and we'll go to the borders, sloppy. So I'm going to go to sloppy, and there's a border here, number 13. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to click it, and you see when you apply it, it's got this white border that's mixed with the black. Well, the only part of the border that I care about is the black part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change I'm going to go to the blending options. I'm going to change the blending mode from normal to darker color. And watch what happens. You see, it gets rid of all the white and it just leaves us with the black part. I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to change the scale to 1, which brings it a little bit closer to the center, and it gives me some more room to add a second border. Because this is kind of like the, almost like the bezel or the inner border of the image. I'm going to click Add, and we'll scroll up now to finish it off, going to the simple borders, and the first one here called just black, a basic black border. Now it's really thick. You can see here how it comes in, and it's really thick. There's not much of a space. So all I need to do is take the scale slider over here, and I'm going to scale it out to 9. And there we go. You can see now that we now have this kind of like two-tiered border. We have the outer border and then the inner border, and then we've got Kodak. And you can see here's the original. Let's turn the preview off. That's this cute, adorable little shot of a puppy. And then we kind of added our own style here. So now that we're done, I'm going to click Apply to return back to Lightroom, and we'll just finish things off. All right, so now we're in the Develop module of Lightroom. There's not too much I'm going to do here. I will bring out the contrast of the image a bit, and I'm also going to take the temperature and I'm going to warm it up just a tiny bit, just to bring out some more of Kodak's natural warm color. All right, with that, I'm also going to take the highlights. I'm going to bring the highlights up. I really want to kind of pop the white parts of Kodak's paws and his mouth and that little strip of white fur up here. I'm also going to bring up clarity, and I'm also going to bring up just a bit of vibrance to the image. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a bit of a vignette. I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to bring the midpoint really close to center, but to help kind of create a nice smooth transition for that vignette, I'm going to increase the feather, which makes that vignette really smooth. I'm actually going to make it a little bit stronger. There we go. All right, so this is what we've done. If we just go back to the library mode, this was our original image of Kodak. And again, it's really, when you're with your camera, that term snapshot, I don't know what it is for me, why I never really cared for it, but when you kind of employ the techniques that you use when you're out in the field and you're trying to create a really kind of jaw-dropping image, apply them to the same images here where you're trying to create your own personal memories, and you get these really beautiful shots that, especially when you stylize, this shot will sit there. I want to print it out on canvas, and just it's gonna be with me forever, because this is gonna be Kodak. In a few months from now, he won't even be like this. So now I'll be able to remember him as this adorable puppy, this playful puppy that he was, and then enjoy him as he grows through in life with me. So I hope this has helped with you, especially with the holidays. And I want to thank you all for joining me for episode number 40, and I hope to see you next week for episode number 41. Thank you.